weeks. This comes after Jerry backed Ezekiel Elliott's suspension appeal last season and threatened legal action over the commissioner's contract extension. League rules say that if an owner brings litigation against the other owners, he must reimburse the league for legal fees. So Shannon, how will this affect Jerry going forward?
I don't think it's going to affect him too much. Jerry's going to be Jerry. Jerry's a very competitive man. All these owners are competitive. While they don't compete on the field, you don't get to be billionaires without being competitive. And Jerry doesn't like taking this very public L. And I don't have a problem with the NFL owners. See, Skip, they don't want another Al Davis situation. You know, Al Davis, if former commissioner, who was the former commissioner? Pete Rozelle. At every turn, I want to go to L.A. No, Al, you can't go. I'm suing. Well, I want to go to Oakland. No, Al, you can't go. Well, I'm suing. It just seems like every other year. And they don't want another one of these situations. Skip, this was a frivolous lawsuit. This had nothing to do about no contract. This had to do with Jerry being upset that Commissioner Dale suspended Ezekiel Elliott. Because in May, he signed off on to give the contract extension to the commissioner. In August, he again signed off on it. It wasn't until Zeke was suspended that all of a sudden, we need to pump the brake. We need to slow this train down. And the other owner said, wait a minute, Jerry. Now, we've heard you on numerous occasions say, let's do what's best for the league and bite the bullet and take one for the team. Now, all of a sudden, you want to go it alone. So we want this money that we had to put up and snuff out this frivolous litigation. We want you to recompensate us. And they let him know, Jerry, you do own the Cowboys. They are the most popular team. But you're not powerful than 31 of us. So if you want to try to go this now, I believe this have a little damper on the Commissioner Goodell and Jerry's relationship, a la Mr. Kraft and Commissioner Goodell. It took 2 years for this thing to fall. And when they raised the banner a couple of years, last year, Commissioner showed up to that Thursday night game. Everything was back to normal. And I believe this will probably a little bit, a little frost between Commissioner Goodell and Jerry Jones. But Skip, I don't have a problem with this. The other owners are correct. We don't want you, Jerry, stepping outside of the scope. Because at the end of the day, Skip, now normally they're united. I mean, hey, they might do some bickering in a closed setting. It never gets out. But they normally put on a united front. Jerry was very, very vocal, very, very public with this. He's not going to like this very, very public L. Because, Jerry, Jerry got deep pockets. Jerry's trying to overthrow the... May be that as it may. The commissioner has a very tough job. They understand. The commissioner is the spokesman for the 32 owners. That's what he really is, Skip. He's the spokesman. He's saying what the owners want him to say. Commissioner Goodell, that's fine. They want to make it about Jerry. No, the other 31 owners say, Jerry, we want our money back. Because we had to put this money up to snuff out this frivolous litigation that you about to drag us through. So pay us back and let's get on, like they say, let's get back to business as usual.
So, I agree with everything you just said, except one point that I'll get to in just a moment. But I'm going to go bigger picture. And I'm going to talk about the Jerry I really got to know through 3 books I wrote on the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry Jones was a huge part of all 3 books. And in the middle book, to your first point, I had a whole chapter about how Jerry sought the early on counsel of one Al Davis. That was his godfather in the league. That was the guy. He invited the Raiders to come to, they were in Austin, Texas, in their camp at that point at St. Edward's University, and he talked Al into bringing the Raiders there for, it was 3 big days of practice, but they stayed there for like 5 days so that Jerry could have dinner every night with Al Davis. Everything Jerry knows about owning and operating an NFL franchise, he learned from that man, Al Davis. Another man I knew very well, God rest his soul. Now back to Jerry Jones. Just because he took the L, I don't think Jerry cares at all because he is still the center of NFL attention. We are talking today about Jerry Jones, and somewhere, I assume in Dallas, Texas, I don't know where, he's everywhere. He is grinning ear to ear because he believes in the oldest bromide in not only sports but in business that any publicity is good publicity. That's what Jerry believes with all his heart and soul. That for him, it's all about selling tickets, attracting and creating huge TV ratings, It's about buzz and box office and star power. And right now, Jerry Jones is the most famous owner in sports.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
Yeah.
even close.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anybody who's even in. Mark
No.
Cuban might be kind of in the ballpark, but
No.
it's Jerry Jones, right?
Yeah, he was like George Steinbrenner in Rest His Soul skipping
Yeah.
baseball.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of teams, but everybody knew who the Yankees owner was.
So, all Jerry cares about is that he still owns and operates America's team,
Yeah.
which has really become Jerry Jones's team because he's still the biggest star on his team.
That is correct.
Right?
Correct.
Zeke, Dak, Dez. Nope, it's Jerry. And we are talking about the Hall of Famer, Jerry Jones.
Yep.
And last year, even in a down year for the Dallas Cowboys, no Zeke for 6 games. No Sean Lee, but I won't get into that for 6 games. But you realize they had 2 of the top 3 rated games during the regular season last year. They had 4 of the top 6 games in the regular season. And if you want to go back to 2016, at the end of the year, that divisional playoff game was the most watched divisional playoff game, Aaron Rodgers at Jerry World, in NFL history. They just work because they're the Cowboys. But more important, they're Jerry's team. And I don't love that about Jerry because his priority has always been box office even more than it's been winning.
Right.
Entertain them. Winning is secondary. If it happens, fine.
Right.
If it doesn't, fine. So as long as Jerry had Jimmy to sort of balance him out a little bit, those two together, and they
Right.
both had a lot of input, and then they fought in the end and divided over credit, split over credit.
Yes.
But their Lennon McCartney that they had going on, it created the strongest roster in the National Football League. And even without Jimmy in the final 2 years, they should have won both those years. They lost in the championship game the first year, and then they beat Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
It's easy for Jerry to think like that because every year he generates more revenue than any other owner. Even if he doesn't win. So think about that. So what's the incentive? If I don't win, I'm still going to be 300 plus million in revenue. If I do win, I'm 300 plus million.
Right.
So there's really no benefit for him. You know,
Right.
Mr. Kraft looks at it like, oh, I'm trying to stack these Lombardis, blah, blah, blah. Jerry's like, no, y'all talk about me. If I stack, y'all going to talk about me whether I stack Lombardis or not.
Yep.
So what's the drawback from him doing it his way? We keep saying, Jerry, step back. But what's the drawback of it?
Bullseye, which is why, and this is my issue as a Cowboy fan with Jerry, he cares a little bit more about self-promotion, about Jerry promotion, than he does about Lombardi's. He's got 3.
Yeah.
So he's okay. Is he still driven to win? Sure he is.
Sure.
Is he more driven to promote Jerry? I would say.
He's more driven to be at the front and control everything because if he wasn't, he would have hired a coach that he wouldn't be able to control like he can control Jerry Jones and everybody else other than Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. That's what he would do in order to win. But then if that were to happen, he would receive less of the credit. See, Skip, he wants to win, but I need the lion's share of the credit.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kraft, he's like, I'm cutting these checks. Guess what? All I know is that at the end of the Super Bowl, if they hand that trophy to me, I win.
That's correct.
Now, Tom Brady and Coach Belichick, whoever you want to give the credit to, I'll let y'all debate that.
That is
but
correct.
I'm the first person to touch Lombardi.
Yeah.
That's not how Jerry views it.
No.
Jerry wants to touch Lombardi, but who picked these players? Who picked this coach? Who said who's going to play? That's how Jerry looks at it, Skip, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to have the success doing it that way. But he doesn't care, Skip, because guess what? Stadium's still sold out.
It is.
Sponsors are lining up to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys.
And Jerry Jones is still the happiest man in the world because he gets to run an NFL franchise.
Yes.
And he gets to rub elbows with the various Dez Bryants of the world. And it means the world to Jerry that Dez is, quote unquote, like a son to him.
Yes.
So he values that above having to make the hard decision. Maybe we should cut bait with that guy. There's no Belichick in him, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no, I'm going to keep an arm's length so I can whack. You know,
Because for the most part, Skip, think about it. Emmett and Michael and Troy, who was their presenter? So that tells you what they think of that man.
Yep. Okay.
And I get it. I mean, he's hard not to like. If you're running for like 10 seconds, Skip.
Totally agree.
It is hard not to like him.
You'll be overwhelmed.
'Cause
You'll be won over.
He will, because
Yep.
he's talking to you like he's known you for. He's like a magic. He's talking to you like he's known you for 20 years.
That's correct.
Oh, would you like something, this and that?
Yeah.
But Jerry, these other owners, I get it. They like, yeah, Jerry, you got the Cowboys. You were the front and center. But don't ever think now you're more powerful than the other 31. Because we have to remind you. Because remember, Skip, when they was going through this, Mr. Blank said, I'll tell you what, Jerry, we're not taking no more of your call, any more of your call, and don't come by. We're going to do this alone. Because this is the way we do it. You got your committee, we got our committee, and this is what we're going to do. So they wanted to put their foot down because, you know, Jerry started to feel like he was wheeling, dealing, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's okay. We're going to put a stop to this.
So
now we want our $2 million back, too.
I'm with you on that. Where you and I part ways is over Ezekiel Elliott and the case that I thought Jerry and Zeke had against the NFL.
Oh.
I admire Jerry for going to battle over this and continuing to fight over this because I believe Zeke had a good, strong case. That's what I thought.
Skip, I told you from the beginning. Once the police dropped this, I said if he were to suspend me, I'm going all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm fighting it because 2 jurisdictions said nothing, no. And then we got somebody that's not their expertise saying yes. Oh, I have no problem with Zeke fighting it all the way to the end. And I commend Jerry for supporting him.
He did.
But what Jerry, you and I part ways with Jerry. Jerry made it personal, Skip.
He did.
This was about if Commissioner Goodell had not suspended Zeke, there's no way this litigation would have ever happened. So that's what.
No,
I ain't got no problem with Zeke fighting it. If I'm Zeke, I'm still fighting it.
And yet it got a little ugly.
It did.
And it was a bad look for the league.
It was.
And Jerry was in the wrong that way.
Yes.
While he'd been in the right to support the running back.
Just like Mr. Kraft. He was going to support Tom Brady. But what did he do? Jerry told Mr. Kraft, hey, you got a big boy. You got to do what's best for the team.
Oh, it's a little different when it's.
Oh, so now when the man came knock on your door.
We hadn't talked about that in a while. Nice reminder of what a disaster that was.
You know, solicitors doesn't bother me until they knock on my door. Y'all hear? Y'all know I don't.
All I know is we're still talking about Jerry Jones, and Jerry loves it.
And we ain't talking about. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Let's put that fly, Eagles fly.
Nobody remembers that.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. That came and went.
On my computer, have you looked it up? Tom vs. Time, episode 6.
It's not up yet.
Skip.
Wait until it's up there. We're going to do a whole show.
Paul George became the latest NBA player to complain about the refs, and we'll discuss that next.